Yo, Bitcoin officially broke the internet yesterday. We hit $100,000 for the first time. We absolutely broke through it. I think we peaked at like 103K. But today we're going to be exposing why billionaires are already going on national TV to explain why $13 million Bitcoin is far more interesting. I'll play you guys a clip. Let's check it out.
But also, did I read somewhere that you're saying each Bitcoin would be worth the equivalent of $13 million?
Yeah, well, when you crank in the growth rate, which for me, the base case is 29% a year on average for 21 years, that gets you from where we are today to 13 million a coin in the year 2045.
So Bitcoin has so much more room to keep going, to keep pumping. A lot of people, I hear this like, I'm late to Bitcoin. No, we are still just beginning. Bitcoin is on the verge of taking over the world. And here's Michael Saylor again explaining why that is.
The digital capital.
Look, when we saw digital photos transform, a lot of people didn't get the fact that Kodak was going to get replaced by Instagram and Facebook, but they get digital photos. Digital capital is what happens when your long-term store of value goes from a building or goes from a portfolio of stocks to a digital asset like Bitcoin. Bitcoin represents the digital transformation of hundreds of trillions of dollars of capital in the world.
Right.
No one expected to see it, so they don't quite get what it's going to be, except for the fact it's worth all the money in the world.
So let's talk about that, because you do have a couple of slides showing assets around the world. First, okay, let's start with this from again, geared toward Microsoft, but some critics would say when you talk about digital capital being economically and technically superior, no tax. I mean, that doesn't mean it can't be taxed in certain jurisdictions at some point. No torts. Legal issues are going to come up. No regulator. I mean, these are great points, but are they forever points?
The point is, I got $100 million in New York City and I buy a building. I got to worry about someone slipping and falling on the sidewalk and a property tax. But if I can snap my fingers and teleport the building to Zambia, Central Africa, or to Monaco, all of a sudden it's a teleportable building. And of course, if I don't have any tenants in the building, I don't got to worry about them defaulting. Digital capital is the ability to move the money at the speed of light anywhere on Earth and program it on a computer. There's a lot of people that are going to want that rather than having, pick a country in Africa where you want to invest your life savings in a building. Forever.
Yeah, let's say Angola.
Right, and what happens if the government fails? You lose everything.
Exactly.
But if you could put the building in your pocket and go to the place where you like the government, maybe you get to keep your money.
Great. Let's talk about how it's going to grow. So in your presentation, you have this slide twice. The first one, right now, Bitcoin is $2 trillion. You're saying in 21 years, $280 trillion. How do we get there?
What I'm saying is the wealth in the entire world is growing because of innovation, because of technology, but also because of inflation. And people are thinking to sell their Central African real estate to buy Bitcoin, or sell their Siberian natural gas to buy Bitcoin, or sell their Argentine currency to buy Bitcoin. So as people migrate their capital into this global monetary asset, that asset class is going to grow faster
than the rest
of equity, faster than gold.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is the takeover of Bitcoin because it is the superior asset. All other assets are just going to flow into this, as Michael Saylor just beautifully explained and pointed out. But I know what you guys are thinking, like $13 million, 21 years. Maybe a lot of you guys are thinking, what about the short term? So I used Michael Saylor's compound interest. He said he's expecting Bitcoin to compound 29% from here. But what he didn't have time to explain is actually in the short term, he actually expects Bitcoin to compound closer to the 40%. And then over time, it's going to start to tail off that compound interest on a yearly basis. So I use this compound interest calculator to do some different types of calculations, right? So I put $100,000, obviously, where we're currently sitting at right now, and I added different compound percentages. So the base, which is 29%, but to be specific, Saylor expects that over the next 10 years, the compounding rate is going to be closer to 40, and then over time it's going to start to level down. But I put both examples just for the sake of the video so you guys could see. If Bitcoin continues to compound from here on a 29% yearly basis, we're looking at a $1.2 million Bitcoin 10 years from now. 5 years from now, we're looking at a $357,000 Bitcoin. However, the one that I find a little bit more interesting is the 39% compound interest, because I think that's more where we're going to fall into. And then things get a little bit more exciting and interesting. So on a 5-year scale, according to this calculator, we'd be at $518,000 Bitcoin 5 years from now at a 39% compound annual growth. And on a 10-year level, we would be at $2.69 million per coin. So absolutely crazy. So for anyone who tells you, Nico, I'm late, I'm late to the party, it's over 100K, that's the thing that I keep hearing. What I'm telling you guys is Bitcoin is on the verge of essentially taking over the world, right? We played you guys clips of President Vladimir Putin, president of Russia, saying you can't ban this thing. You have courts in China saying, hey, you know what? Bitcoin's legal property. This is the same China that is run by the CCP that banned Bitcoin mining back in 2017. They're turning around. You have Morocco unbanning Bitcoin. We have news coming out of the Kingdom of Bhutan, very small country in Asia in the Himalayas, and we're discovering that they have 1/3 of their GDP in Bitcoin. And of course, you have a pro-Bitcoin president going into the White House. Michael Saylor calls him the first Bitcoin president. He actually had a truth post regarding Bitcoin breaking 100K. What type of world do we live in? That is insane. The future president that's going to be inaugurated in January 20th is congratulating Bitcoiners for Bitcoin hitting $100,000. So I think 2025 and the next 5 to 10 years is going to be historic. It's going to be explosive, and it's going to be extremely exciting. I'm here joined today with my legendary co-host, Optimus Fields. We have James from Stampseed, and of course, the one, the only, the infamous, the famous Yellow Muppet, Yellow in the house. Yellow, how are you doing today?
Hey.
Oh man, James, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Like, woke up, it felt like a sunny day today, even though it's cloudy out here in New York. It's just good things.
So you guys experienced this. We're going to be talking to Yellow, guys, because if you guys are not familiar with Bitcoin culture on Twitter, Yellow has been running a Spaces, kind of like a group call type of thing for the last 3 years. And playing the music Don't Stop Believing in anticipation of Bitcoin breaking 100K. Now, what Yellow expected was for this to happen last cycle. It didn't happen, and I think he signed up for something that he wasn't expecting, but he powered through, and today is going to be the last Spaces because we finally broke 100K. So we're really, really happy to have him on the show today. Opti, I'm going to pass it on to you. What are your thoughts on Saylor's comments, Saylor's predictions? Opti, floor is yours.
I think it's bearish.
Why?
No. I'm kind of trolling. I mean, obviously 13 million in 21 years sounds great to me, but I think the point remains the same, and I think we're going to cover it later, but the psychological number of 100K, I think it's finally showing the world at this point, or maybe over the weekend it'll show the world that this is, a monumentous feat here. Like, we knew this was going to happen. Last night I was kind of trolling earlier before the show that it felt good for like 20 minutes, but maybe I just expected 100K like, years ago, that it's like my Grinch heart only kind of pumped for like a little bit. And then I'm like, okay, I am bored now, like win 1 million. So I like the fact that now we can change the meme moving from 100K to $0.1 million Bitcoin, so we can start to instill the FOMO into people. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I love a $13 million prediction. I love some hopium every once in a while, but the point remains the same. I think everyone is kind of waking up not only to the Michael Saylor strategy, but that the world is going digital, and a lot of people are dropping all of their other assets around the world and starting to FOMO into Bitcoin. Yes, now it's kind of the institutional capital that's going into Bitcoin, but I think everyone is waking up to the fact that Bitcoin is no longer just some internet meme coin. Like, it's no longer just internet nerd money, and everyone in the world needs to have some Bitcoin. And again, that 100K is one of those psychological points where now everyone is going to have to take it seriously. Obviously, a lot of people are probably thinking they don't want to buy the top right now. But as Bitcoiners, we know it's going up forever. You know, everything divided by 21 million. Bitcoin still has a lot of room to run. I think, you know, if you think of it in adoption terms, I forget what the number is, but it's little. I think it's like, you know, even the higher numbers, like 300 million people are Bitcoiners, or rather hold some Bitcoin. I would argue that it's probably a smaller number of people that are Bitcoiners. And I think the latest number we got this week from James Lavish, that it's like, Bitcoin is what, like 0.02% of all global capital. It's still tiny. So if you still are for some reason waiting on the sideline right now, you want to start getting a position. It's like, I think it's a no-brainer at this point. Bitcoin is here. It's not going away. You know, shouts out to all the bears out there that are still waiting for 12K. Doesn't seem like we're going to hit 12K anytime soon. It seems like we're more likely to hit 112K than ever go back down to 12K. So, you know, you need to have some Bitcoin exposure. And I think this is one of those milestones of Bitcoin becoming the global reserve capital of the world. And hey, it feels great. Obviously, it feels good. I just, you know, a million's going to feel better, I think.
Oh man. James, what are your thoughts on this? I think everyone's, you know, we hit 100K, we celebrate. It reminds me of that meme with the guy with the candle, like watching the computer, and he's like locked in, like focusing, and then hits a certain price. He pulls out that, like, you know, like that celebration, whatever thing, and then he puts it down. He's locked back in again. So what are your thoughts? What were your feelings when we broke 100K last night? And what were your thoughts on Saylor, again, going on the legacy media and giving these types of, I don't like the word prediction, because prediction would be like any random anon on Bitcoin Twitter and just throwing out price predictions. Like, Saylor has he's laid out the case and he's been right. I mean, best performing stock in the last year or two on the NASDAQ. And he's been completely vindicated. I think he's up $18 billion in his investment. So, James, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so to answer the first part, last night, to be honest with you, I was getting ready to go to bed. I think it happened around like 9:30 p.m. Eastern, and I was just getting to bed early. And my friend texted me to hit 100K. It's like, oh, wow, checked it out. Had a little bit of a reaction, went to go on Twitter just to join the party. It kind of felt like a New Year's Eve vibe. And to be honest with you, like leading up to 100K, I was just kind of, I don't want to say apathetic about it, but I just got kind of tired of hearing about it. You know, we were kind of sideways for a little bit, and, you know, it's just like, all right, already, you know, what about, you know, you could talk about the, you know, inflation and how we already reached 100K if you factor that in, or, you know, really that one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, all that good stuff. But it's still fun to celebrate it happening. It was a big monumental thing. And after that, I went to bed and then woke up, you know, 3 a.m, you know, just that wake up in the middle of the night, check the price of Bitcoin. And I was like, oh, wow, I forgot I hit 100K right before I went to bed. I think it was like 103. And I was like, wow, this thing is really moving. And that was a wall, right? Break through that 100K wall and, you know, see where the price goes after that. And you're kind of off and running. But just like that meme, you're kind of back to normal and locked in. And that's definitely the case for me. I was talking to people in my circle who I'm trying to orange pill, brother, friends, things like that. My brother is just like, oh, I missed it. You know, what's the point? If I invest now, I'm going to lose it all. You know, anyone who made money on Bitcoin made it already. And I was just like, wow, we're so early still. You know, like 100K is great for us Bitcoiners and people in the, you know, in the space already, and any corporations looking to get in, I suppose, or people with really deep pockets. But for any like regular retail investor who's kind of on the sidelines, you know, they're just still, you know, they missed it, they think, right? They're going to look for other cheaper altcoins. And I'm trying to do my best with my inner circle to explain to them, no, that's not it. you miss the train from, to 100K, don't miss the train to a million, because I personally think that's going to come a lot faster. And yeah, the reaction was like a little bit of a roller coaster, and we're kind of back to normal, business as usual at this point. And then yeah, as far as a Saylor going on, it's great to see him constantly on mainstream media. And I talked to some people who aren't real Bitcoiners yet, but they know his face. They know who that guy is. They know him as the Bitcoin guy that they keep seeing on legacy media. And his prediction, I agree with Opti. It's a little, I think it's a little bit bearish, right? Like 29% doesn't really seem like enough, right? We just don't know what's going to happen. Like if Bitcoin eats gold, that could kind of change the game a little bit. If the U.S. government, well, they're going to get in the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. If they start printing more money to buy Bitcoin at the higher price, that's going to drive the price up. And they don't care what the price is going to be. They're just going to buy it either way, right? Just print more money. It's free to do, essentially. Buy as much Bitcoin as you need, bring up the price. Factor in all the corporation FOMO, like Microsoft, Rumble's getting in. I think Sampler, Scientific, whoever else there may be getting in, could be big. If Meta starts to adopt Bitcoin, put on their balance sheet, that'd be huge. They have so much extra cash flow. It's kind of insane if you compare them to other corporations out there. So I think it's bearish, but I also think it's, I think he has to be reasonable. He can't go on there and say Bitcoin is going to be, it's going to eat gold and, be $500,000 a coin very soon, or, $5 million within a year or anything like that. Well, that stuff could happen. I guess he's kind of taking, his approach. He's obviously won in the past. He's speaking to a certain audience on legacy media. Maybe he wants to tone it down a little bit to get his message through. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's my take. I think it's, a little bearish, but hey, Saylor knows better than me, right? He's made his billions off of it. And regardless of what happens there, I still have my conviction, right? I'm holding, never selling, buying more. 100K is going to look cheap one day, right? 5 years from now, it's going to look cheap. We're going to wish we bought more. So I try to look at it that way.
Absolutely. 100%. Yellow, man, this has been a historic moment in Bitcoin's history. You played a major part of it. How did you feel last night when Bitcoin finally break 100K? Were you awake? Were you sleeping? What's your take, Yellow?
Yeah, I was sleeping. It was late here, and so what I do when I sleep is like I close even my thing in the phone, right? So like I was late for work, hurried up getting ready. I jumped on my bike. I started up my Fiat working PC, and as I was doing it, I was like, okay, let me enable Wi-Fi again on my phone, and suddenly the notifications started coming in like crazy for like 1 minute, crazy like that. I was like, oh, this is how Dennis Porter feels. That's nice. And then at some point after like 40 seconds, I was like, okay, I get it. Like without me checking the price, we are. I knew at the spot that happened.
So Yellow, what is
all day today is like me playing catch up.
Oh man, amazing. Guys, if you guys are enjoying the show so far, make sure to smash that like button. We're almost at 600 live viewers on YouTube alone, and almost 1,600 live viewers in total between all platforms. Help us break 200 likes within the first 30 minutes of the show. We're already almost at 150. But yeah, guys, it's going to be a great show. Stay tuned. We're going to do our victory lap today. I'm wearing a very special sweater. I told you so. We told you so. Cherish this moment. This is your vindication. You've been hodling through. You've earned your stripes. Like, you've earned this. This is a very, very historic moment in Bitcoin's history. And we're going to go down memory lane. We're going to talk about some of the things, how legacy, how TradFi is reacting. Some of the traditional financial media is even saying like, yeah, you guys got it right, but we're still right. It's absolutely hilarious. Like I mentioned earlier on in the show, Donald Trump posted on Truth, congratulations to the Bitcoiners. So it's going to be a great show, guys. We have lots to cover. And also we're going to be talking about the stamp seed. We're reached $100,000 and you don't want to lose your seed words because eventually you're going to want to pass that on to future generations. And imagine having that conversation. You're 80 years old, your grandchildren are looking at you and they're like, hey, you're going to pass it to me. It's like, no, I'm sorry. My dog ate my seed phrase. Like that's a terrible conversation to have. You don't want to have that conversation. Before we start the show, guys, I do give a shout out to Simply Bitcoin's lead sponsor. Simply Bitcoin wouldn't be possible without our partners, and we're very, very picky on who we choose to partner with. That's why I want to tell you guys about Bitcoin Well. Bitcoin Well is the best place to build your automatic self-custody Bitcoin stack. What makes Bitcoin Well different than all the other on-ramps and why we at Simply Bitcoin recommend it is that it is a non-custodial platform. What does that mean? That means that when you buy Bitcoin on Bitcoin Well, as soon as the funds clear, your Bitcoin goes straight to your self-custody Bitcoin wallet address, meaning you can't even leave the funds on the exchange, which is the way you should be buying Bitcoin, which is why we recommend Bitcoin Well. If you're a higher net worth individual, check out their latest product, Bitcoin Well Infinite. So what is that? It's tailored for people that are kind of sick of Coinbase and they don't like it. And it's like they're tired of dealing with the UI. The support is terrible. You want a human being. You want someone to talk to through your Bitcoin journey, whether you're trying to buy or you're trying to sell. You actually have someone that you can speak to. So you'll have a number to text, you'll have a number to call, you'll have a representative to actually deal with. It's a white glove service for people who are trying to buy $50,000 worth of Bitcoin or more. To get started, you go to bitcoinwell.com/OTC, or you could personally email me at nico@bitcoinwell.com. Also, every time you buy Bitcoin on Bitcoin Well, you earn Bitcoin Well points, and you could redeem those points towards the Bitcoin Wishing Well contest, which we're going to do live for you guys right now. Get your Lightning wallets ready. First person to scan the QR code has won 500 sats. Every time you toss a coin into the well, you win a prize, and you have an opportunity to win up to 1 million sats in a coin toss. So head over to bitcoinwell.com today to get started. Use promo code SimplyBTC and you'll get 3 tosses into the wishing well absolutely free. bitcoinwell.com. All right, everybody, let's hit the numbers. I want to tell you guys about our sponsor, Stamp Seed. Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Are your seed words really secure? Stamp Seed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you'll need to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates instead of writing them down on paper. Don't do that. Paper sucks. You want to literally stamp your seed into this plate of titanium. Your words are actually stamped into the metal plate with this hammer. So once your words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and your pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamp seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They are also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and most importantly, because this is generational wealth, time-proof. All things that paper is not, allowing you to hodl your Bitcoin for the long haul. I mean, here is the plate that they crushed. They put in water, they put a blowtorch to it, and as you can see, the words have survived. Stamp your seed on Stamp Seed. And you can use promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off anything on their store. Head over to stampseed.com today. They also have announced limited edition plates. Check out this one that they dropped for Cyber Monday. Has a Cyber Hornet on it. And we're going to be announcing a very special edition today on today's show, which we're going to uncover during the culture segment. But again, head over to stampseed.com today. Use promo code SIMPLY. Store your seed phrase the right way. Don't write down your seed words on paper. Stamp them onto titanium. Stampseed.com. Simply. At the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is 100. Oh my God, that felt really good to say. Holy shit. I can't believe it. This is oh man, that feels really good. The Bitcoin price is $101,160. I cannot believe it. Oh man, dude, that's crazy. When I started the show, the price was like 3,500. This is crazy. Okay. Anyways,
wait, Nico, you got to pop out the chicken,
dude. I this is insane. Oh my God, I can't even believe it. Anyways, if you guys are new to the show, this is Satoshi the Bitcoin Chicken. He clucks every time the price of Bitcoin reaches an all-time high. So we definitely blew past an all-time high last night, and we still are at all-time highs. Block height 873,399. Sats per dollar 989. Dude, that is crazy. Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's the craziest number here.
We're under 1,000 sats per dollar. That is gnarly. Market cap 2 trillion. Bitcoin price in gold 38.4 ounces. Bitcoin versus gold market cap 10.92%. Percentage issued 94.24%. Decline from all-time high -2.6. Realized monetary inflation 1.17%. Anyways, I reached out to I consider him a friend, and he's a legend of the Bitcoin community. I reached out to Yellow this morning, and I wanted to have him on the show. And the reason for that is Yellow has been holding it down for the last 1,123 days. So 3 years. And Yellow's prophecy was that Bitcoin was going to reach 100K. I don't think Yellow realized what he signed up for when he started it, but he powered through. He put in the proof of work. And just to kind of give you an idea of how powerful this proof of work is, we have the Bitcoin senator, Senator Cynthia Lummis, tweeting Yellow's meme, "Don't stop believing Bitcoin reaches 100K." So historic moment. And I think it indicates the power of our movement. So absolutely crazy. Yellow's going to be holding his last spaces if Bitcoin stays above 100K for the next 3 hours.
Yellow's dead no matter what.
It's done. So he's going to be holding his last spaces, which is going to be popping off. You had Lynn Alden commenting. This is incredible proof of work. He's going to be holding his last don't stop believing, hold on to that feeling spaces today at 4:30. You don't want to miss this historic moment. I'm just excited to hear what Yellow has to say. It's going to be great. You guys don't want to miss it. Also, speaking about kind of milestones and historic moments, Coinbase actually got the guy who made the original video of Bitcoin breaking $100 10 years ago. I actually have a video of a side-by-side of the two videos. Let's check it out.
Watching history be made. Bitcoin is up to $100,000. That's an all-time high, and it's continuing to rise. I've seen it break 3 times today. Went up to 110, and this is the highest that it's ever been. It's ridiculous. Look at, we had last trade 2 Bitcoin for $100,000 a piece. $11 piece. That's amazing to me. I mean, just look at this graph. You see this graph? That's the last. This is just the last 3 minutes. Give me a second. I'll switch it up.
Absolutely insane. History in the making. And I'm telling you, what's going to happen is 5 years from now, 10 years from now, he's going to be making another video about Bitcoin breaking 1 million. And then after that, he's going to be making another video about Bitcoin breaking 13 million because it's going up forever, Laura. Anyways, Yellow, you're the man of the hour, man. How you feeling? How you doing? Are you excited for this being your last spaces? It must be bittersweet. When you start doing something every day, it starts to become routine. It starts to become a part of who you are. So I'm sure there's relief that you're feeling, but I'm sure that also it's a little bit bittersweet. What's your take, Yellow?
Yeah, before I go to that, the detail in that video that we just saw is the guy has the same desk. It's the same desk, like if, all those years after, right? That's a Bitcoiner. As you said, like bittersweet, man. Like I feel relieved mostly in the bigger part, but at the same time, um, like a little community of the DSBers around this thing, and we have a great group chat, and most all the guys and get wholesome, and we're having fun every day with my shenanigans, and at the same time, every day I had like a mind nobody could take it away, and I had a way to express myself and rant about whatever was happening, and that was addicting. I kind of so DSB as it is, it has to end because I have to get a life. But DSB is going to continue in another format. I feel more relaxed for me, and what I want, else I want to do in the space, and also I need a break for sure.
Wait. So news.
Also, hold on. But breaking news as well. Yellow, why don't you tell everyone that you are now doing "Don't Stop Believing," hodl to that feeling up to $1 million. Is that true?
No. What else you want me to like to play the song 6 times or something?
Oh man, that's hilarious. James, what are your thoughts? I mean, that side video, right, of that $100, that is surreal, dude. You know, you talk $100 Bitcoin, we're sitting at 100,000. It's like, it's nuts. And shout out to him too for like literally verbatim saying exactly what he said 10 years ago, which was absolutely hilarious. And he was like saying like there was like a couple Bitcoins that were trading. It was like it's like 10,000 Bitcoin, 5,000 Bitcoin. It was so nuts. James, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, right? Like to be able to, he's saying the same things too in some of those clips. Like, you know, ever since it hit $100 or $100,000, it kept running up, and that's what we saw, you know, both times there. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see that live when it was at $100. I wish I did. But shout out to him for holding throughout that whole time. And yeah, I had no idea that guy was still around. So it's pretty cool. He posted that video last night, catching it hit 100K. And you know, after watching something like that, you could just see someone humble, right? They haven't changed. Like Yellow said, he hasn't changed his desk. It's still the same one that's sitting there. Probably just kept buying Bitcoin and holding throughout that time. So absolute legend. And you know, I'm sure he's not going to be selling anytime soon, right? He's holding up until whenever. So, yeah, no, just really cool, surreal to be able to see something like that happen. Got to get him on Legacy Media with Michael Saylor or something. I think that'll be a good move.
Absolutely, 100%. Opti, what's your take on this, man? I mean, historic video. We got the Yellow in the house, legend, hodling to that feeling and to the very end, like a true Bitcoiner, putting in the proof of work to the point of getting the attention of a United States senator to say his meme, which is absolutely hilarious. Opti.
Yeah, well, first of all, my first thoughts was I really want to, like, obviously I love that clip. It's a great clip, historic clip, but I really want the one guy to come back and do an updated version of Don't Buy Bitcoin, It's Gonna Crash. I think it would be great to see that at 100K. That would be very historic as well. But talking about Yellow, I think for most people that don't remember when Yellow started it, the funniest part about Yellow's Don't Stop Believing Spaces is he literally did it at the absolute top of last cycle and wrote it all the way down. Now we're back. So if you want to blame someone for not getting to 100K, I think we can blame Yellow, but shouts out to Yellow for doing it.
It was 3 days. It was 3 days before the top. Okay, don't over.
Oh man,
it was literally 3 days. But it shows something. Whoever hasn't experienced that we all love here, Bitcoin, every cycle, more stubborn people and more that great of an IQ, but that doesn't stop them on doing magnificent things in this space. Like, we are stubborn, man. And the people that more stubbornness gets into this network of ours, more and more the base is built for going down. And if it doesn't going down, it's one way, and that's out. Like, that's what it's simple. It's not. It's like really, really simple. Each cycle, more stubbornness gets in the network. People like us, people that are not gonna sell for whatever reason whatsoever. We space every day through sickness and health for 3 and more years with our stubbornness. Call it what you want, until we reach, and then someone else will get in our place and do something similar. And that's how the story, how the song goes forever and ever and ever. It's really simple.
It's so simple. People make it complicated because they're used to like this fiat system that is like inherently nihilistic because it's designed to go down forever. And it's like a little bit shocking when you run into Bitcoin because the system is designed to go up forever. And the world hasn't realized that yet, right? Imagine the optimism the world will have, just the average everyday individual, where all of a sudden their savings go up over time. It's going to be a much more beautiful world, a much more optimistic world. We're all here for it.
The small difference with our system and their system is that their system, whenever they want, they cut their space to another whole like football field. Our system is this thing. It holds a finite amount of land inside. So in every cycle, you infuse more and more stubbornness as your base layer in a confined space. That pressure being built every cycle is the price going up.
100%.
So even if people that right now might be uber bullish, say a million, well, with enough stubbornness and enough time, we win. 100%. That's 100%. It's not stubbornness plus time.
100%, because we're gonna meme this into reality, and this is what TradFi doesn't understand. We're gonna get to the Financial Times article. By the way, guys, we broke 2,000 live viewers. We're almost at 600 live viewers on YouTube alone. Guys, keep smashing that like button. Really, really helps push the broadcast forward. But anyways, yes, 100%. We're memeing this into reality. That's why Saylor calls the Bitcoin community, the diehards, the true believers, the cyber hornets, because we're holding it down. Listen, guys, I refuse to go back to that system. And every single day, there's more stubborn people like me that are joining our network, our system, our money, and they're leaving that network, that money, right? And they don't have a response, right? Bitcoin would not have been invented, in my opinion, if central bankers didn't fundamentally betray the trust of essentially the society gave the government and central banks this tremendous power and responsibility. And they essentially abused that trust to line their pockets and empower themselves. And now we found a sly roundabout way to opt out of that system entirely. And by the day, the Bitcoin army continues to grow. By the day, the Bitcoin believers continue to grow. By the day, to use Yellow's words, the stubborn people that are joining continue to grow. And we're not going back. For me, this is a political movement. I see it. It's not just about, like, you come for money. Anyone that tells you otherwise is lying. But you stay for the revolution. And the revolution is the separation of money and state. The revolution is individuals all around the world taking back their financial sovereignty, using Bitcoin. That financial sovereignty they were not aware has been stolen from them. And that's not part of the social contract. You can make the argument that income tax was agreed upon because it's into law. People feel differently about that, but that's the reality. We have never agreed to the money tax because that's exactly what inflation is. It's a form of taxation, and the government and politicians are relying on the populace not being informed about that reality. And that's the job of Bitcoiners, and that's the job of all of us to really get that message out there that money can exist without inflation. And if money can exist without inflation, life gets better. Anyways, guys, stay tuned. We have so much to talk about today. We're going to get to the news segment. We will be right back.
Very special shout out to our sponsor, Compass Mining. They make Bitcoin mining accessible to everyone, from beginners to experienced investors. Their turnkey miners gets you online and hashing within 48 hours, making it easier than ever to start your mining journey. Plus, with their active marketplace, you can resell your miner at any time, adding flexibility and value to your investment. Visit their website to access a wealth of resources, learning everything you need to know about Bitcoin mining. Take your first step into the world of Bitcoin mining with confidence. Discover more at compassmining.io. Again, compassmining.io, and see how Compass Mining can power your success. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Foundation. It's self-custody done right. They built a premium grade hardware wallet called Passport right here in the US, and it integrates seamlessly with their free app called Envoy. Passport is fully open source and verifiable. It's the most intuitive Bitcoin wallet design with a UX reminiscent of a classic feature phone, so you'll know how to navigate it and use it the moment you pick it up. It's also air-gapped, meaning Bitcoin stays offline, never touching an internet connection. It's Bitcoin only, open source verifiable, air-gap security model, gorgeous design craft, premium grade materials. Get your Bitcoin off exchanges and into your own hands in just a few minutes with Passport at foundation.xyz/simply. Get peace of mind for your piece of Bitcoin.
All right, everybody, this is Opti, and Opti is going to show you guys the Passport by Foundation devices. It's absolutely beautiful. It's easy to use. It doesn't sacrifice security for convenience. This is the perfect gift to give to someone that perhaps is a little bit intimidated by self-custody. The Passport makes self-custody easy and human friendly. You can use promo code SIMPLY to get a discount. Anyways, getting to today's news. So this is gnarly. This is nuts. I cannot believe this. What timeline are we in? What the F is going on? Here is Donald Trump, who's going to be inaugurated January 20th of 2025. And he posted this on Truth Social, which is his own social media platform. To quote him, this is not me saying this. This is freaking insane. Congratulations, Bitcoiners, $100,000. This is hilarious. You're welcome. Together we will make America great again. Michael Saylor quote tweeted this, and he said, "We have a hashtag Bitcoin president." I 100% agree. This is insane. What timeline are we in? I just can't believe it. A little bit of a victory lap as well. Here's the Financial Times, or as we like to call it, the Fiat Times here at Simply Bitcoin. And the reason for that is because over the last decade or so, the New York Times and the Financial Times, which is part of the legacy media, which is slowly being replaced by X and alternative platforms, the meme speaks for itself. Like, the meme speaks for itself. Holders an apology, and it's the Wojak with the straight face but the crying person that you can see underneath. This is just hilarious. So regular, to read from the article, regular readers of FT Alphaville may have formed the impression that its current and former writers are united in skepticism about crypto in general and Bitcoin in particular. This is correct. FTAV posts between June 2011 and today may have communicated the idea that Bitcoin is a negative sum game being played on a protocol that's very clever and hypothetically useful as a unit of account, but is chronically inefficient as a conventional means of exchange and is compromised as a store of value. Our post may also have promoted the idea that the price of Bitcoin is an arbitrary hype gauge that's disconnected from any utility the token may have, because it's trivial to duplicate the utility provided by said token. So any intrinsic worth comes from the sunk costs of infrastructure alongside intangibles like regulatory, I don't know what that is, interconnectedness with mainstream financial systems. It was once sold as being the antidote to and the souvenir attraction of being the first. We stand by every single one of those posts. Nevertheless, with Bitcoin's price recently crossing 100,000, a significant number of commentators seem to feel they deserve an apology in light of our long-standing cynicism. So here it is. We're sorry at any moment in the past 14 years you chose, based on our coverage, not to buy a thing whose number has gone up. It's nice when your number goes up, and we're sorry if you misunderstood our crypto cynicism to be a declaration of support for TradFi, because we hate that too. Well, you know what I gotta say? We told you so. And you know what I gotta say? You guys got it catastrophically wrong in every single regard. You guys cost your viewers, your readers, so much money. You guys dropped the ball on so many levels, and this is exactly why people are sick and tired of legacy media, and they're using alternative platforms like X. So this meme is the representation of their apology. I bet you the writer himself is pissed off he didn't buy Bitcoin. And you know what? The whole regulatory argument, dude, I'm going to drop. The president of the United States is congratulating us for crossing 100K. All right. So I don't think we're going to have any issues there. And of course, here's our favorite, one of our favorite news outlets, the New York Times, that also has hit us with the metaphoric 2x4 over the last 5 years or so. And they say Bitcoin hits a historic milestone, 100,000. The price of a single Bitcoin rose to 6 figures for the first time. An extraordinary level for a 16-year-old cryptocurrency once dismissed as a sideshow. Dismissed by you, dude. Not dismissed by you guys, right? And if you still don't believe it, if you still don't believe what's happening, here is Stacy Herbert quote tweeting Elon Musk. And what was Elon Musk commenting on? It is Nayib Bukele basically saying one giant "I told you so." And here is Autism Capital, a very popular account on X. And he says, post the portfolio again. It's time to dunk on the haters. The richest man in the world, who literally figured out a way to land rockets and make self-driving cars, literally said that's impressive. Mind you, SpaceX and Tesla both own Bitcoin. Tesla's a public company, so they owned about roughly 10,000 Bitcoin, give or take. So, yeah, I mean, feel cynicism. Continue to feel the way that you want to feel. If you guys want to literally take yourselves out of business because you want to double down on the traditional financial system that has robbed the lower and middle classes via monetary debasement, so be it, bro. That's my take on all this. This just feels good. Cherish the moment. We're winning. I told you so. Opti, what's your take?
Yeah, well, I love to see the Fiat Times and all of the other legacy media start to cope about Bitcoin. And I think this is something we've been talking about a long time, that once Bitcoin does cross that 100K, not only are you going to see it on the headlines and they're going to, get the news coverage and this, the Bitcoin signal is going to get out there, but more people are going to have to look at Bitcoin seriously. And it really reminds me of when I got into Bitcoin and I remember it hitting 10K. And that's what essentially gave me the final push to go full in and kind of try to understand what Bitcoin is, was seeing it on the news everywhere around 10K. And now, we're 10X from that, and you just love to see it. And I'm really glad you brought up the New York Times article, because there is a quote in it that I absolutely love. And it's something we've been saying, or rather I've been saying on the show for a long, long time, that this would happen. And it's here, I can pull it up so you guys can see it.
Don't pull it up. Just read it.
Oh, okay. Well, it was a screenshot of it. Anyways, all right, here's a quote, and it goes, Bitcoin's rise to $100,000 signals its now undeniable status in the global economic system. The virtual currency has become a staple of financial markets, embraced by Wall Street giants and amateur investors alike. Its surge also caps an astonishing turnaround after, of course, they were mentioning the FTX debacle. And this is the trend that we're going to start to see, is more people coping on the fact that, wait, I thought Bitcoin died and now it's at 100K. And we're just going to continue to see the cope go from 100K to $1 million, and I think this is going to push more people into Bitcoin. And this is just the game that you see. People cope about Bitcoin, they start to bend the knee and they realize, wait, Bitcoin isn't dying. You can try to ban Bitcoin, you can try to tax Bitcoin, you can try to outlaw Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is just going to do its thing and literally route around the legacy financial system and even route around the legacy corporate press. And all of us Bitcoiners here are just, absolutely winning, and you just love to see it. And the Nayib Bukele just dunk is hilarious. Just, post your gains. And he's like, remember all the headlines from the IMF and stuff saying that El Salvador was going to blow up and their Bitcoin play was risky. They even said that a couple of times this year, that, even though Nayib Bukele in El Salvador is doing so well, this Bitcoin play is still risky. And I think we're going to see even more cope coming out after 100K. And it's just great. The Elon Musk tweet is kind of interesting in one sense. Like, he is, technically the richest man in the world. And it feels kind of like cute gains, bro. But I think maybe this is when Musk kind of turns around and he starts to embrace Bitcoin and stops trolling about Doge. You can hope, but I know he likes to troll. So I think more people are waking up to the fact that, hey, Bitcoin isn't going away and you need to have some Bitcoin. And it feels great. 100K does feel great, but there's still a lot of work to be done, and people still need to understand what Bitcoin is, or rather catch that FOMO bug. And the last point is that Trump tweet is just hilarious. I think that is so funny. Like, I think it was inevitable that Bitcoin gets to 100K. Obviously, the tailwinds of Trump embracing Bitcoin and announcing the strategic Bitcoin stockpile obviously made the Bitcoin price pump. And the "you're welcome" tweet is just so funny to me. Like, Donald Trump is now being renamed to Donald Pump, and shouts out to him, pump our bags. And to everyone out there that's like, oh, Donald Trump doesn't understand Bitcoin. He just kind of is grifting on it. It's like, I think this is where we're going. Like, I don't think everyone in the future is going to have to understand Bitcoin like we understand Bitcoin. Like, do you understand all the intricacies of the dollar? It's like, no, you just use it as money. And, Trump loves winning, and seeing Bitcoin pump, I think he's starting to fall in love with just winning with us. And I'm okay with that. I'm here for it. Like, keep pumping our bags, keep embracing Bitcoin. I'm sure Barron Trump out there is gloating right now, because I'm convinced that Barron Trump really kind of pulling the strings behind Papa Trump. And dude, it feels great. 100K, here we go. But the work's not done. We got to go to 1 million. And then we're going to take over all of the global assets in the world.
But Opti called me, or we were speaking this morning, and he's like, bro, at 100K, like, I can't quit my job. And I was like, wait, Opti, like, at $1 million, what, you're gonna quit? Like, what are you talking about? No. What else are you gonna do?
What I said was 100K feels good, but it's not like I can quit my job.
Yeah, but what else are you gonna do, bro? You're gonna literally go on vacation, and you're gonna literally get tired of it.
I don't know, but like that's that's kind of what a lot of people think. It's like, okay,
retirement is overrated. You need a purpose.
I'm retiring, and it's like, man, I still have to work in the morning. Like, this is bittersweet.
Oh man. Yellow, what's your take on this victory lap? Embrace it, especially for you, dude. You put in the fucking work, bro. 3 years of don't stop believing. We're getting attacked left and right by the legacy media. These people are like, I'm sorry, man, but like what is going, it reminds me of the clip that I played you guys. I think it was last week, of the Axios CEO having like a full meltdown, basically saying like, you're not journalists. You don't like whatever. These are the journalists. These are the journalists. Like, if you would have listened to the journalists for the Financial Times, they would have absolutely got you wrecked in 100 different ways. Yellow, what's your take?
Well, I think it's my 4th cycle. So around the 3rd cycle, I stopped paying that much attention to people that know better than me. Having said that, I understand my, like, I'm not saying I'm an expert to anything. I'm just saying that in this particular thing, I'm right. And I'm constantly being right. And keeps on working for me and my family and my friends. So that thing that I know, which is, say to the space, back to the basics, stack sats, hodl your keys. It's not that complicated. So I stopped paying that much attention to those guys outside and even if they're like friends, family, presidents, ex-presidents, I don't really care about that. No, I'll fight back, sit post them around them, but that's about the energy they will get out of me for their dumb ways. There will come a point where, once again, I'll be right, a stupid fucking puppet will be right, and they will be wrong again, and there will come a point where they will join me too. So, to say to them.
Love it. Love it. James, what's your take on this, man? It's beautiful. I'm cherishing this moment. I mean, like, how long until we have, there's also a video, by the way, of Jerome Powell actually admitting that Bitcoin is digital gold. Let's check it out.
In the Federal Reserve itself, in terms of the system, what do you think of that idea?
I don't think that's how people think about it. I mean, it's so, people use Bitcoin as a speculative asset, right? It's like gold. It's just like gold, only it's virtual. It's digital. People are not using it as a form of payment or as a store of value. It's highly volatile. It's not a competitor for the dollar. It's really a competitor for gold. That's really how I think of it.
So, I mean, we've made a lot of progress. It goes from Bitcoin is not money. This is not money. This isn't real to, you know what? It might be a store of value. I mean, it's a competitor to gold, not a competitor to us. Dollar's still dope. I mean, like, you can't deny it. You cannot deny the number go up, because eventually it just makes you look stupid. Anyways, James, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, so I mean, that clip in particular, that clip and the Putin clip saying Bitcoin ultimately can't be stopped are two things. So I'm like, that's going to really reverberate throughout, the world right now. Legacy media is going to have to, take note of that and change their tune. But with the Powell quote specifically, Bitcoin replacing gold, right? Like, Bitcoin is an improvement upon gold. It's easy to transport, easier to divide. It is, more scarce. It's everything gold is not. So obviously it's replacing that, but I guess he's forgetting that the dollar used to be backed by gold too. So really that was like kind of meant to replace gold, and then they just kind of switched it up on us, gave us that hidden tax of inflation. And I think he's just trying to buy himself some time, trying to buy the Fed some time. Ultimately, like, we know the dollar really doesn't matter in the world of Bitcoin. We just kind of price Bitcoin to the dollar, whatever currency that you're forced to use. But yeah, it's replacing gold. It's replacing a lot of things, the dollar included. I guess he's just trying to create a new narrative out there, but we're fine with it, right? If Bitcoin eats gold, that's great. I think it would go to like $500,000 a coin or something to that effect. There's a lot more room for Bitcoin to grow and kind of eat these other assets. So, with that clip in particular, yeah, it's replacing gold. Thanks. The dollar also replaced gold too. That didn't work out too good, but Bitcoin will work out good. And then with some of the other things, like I don't even read legacy media, Fiat Times. I opted out of that stuff pretty much before Bitcoin. But whoever wrote that article, they sound like they're really going through it pretty hard right now. I can't tell if they're coping with themselves. I can't tell if they're trying to be condescending to us, saying, "Oh, you shouldn't have listened to us." I don't know what the direction of that is, but it's all over the place. It just sounds like someone going through it. They're manic. They're down hard. And at the end of the day, whoever wrote that, they have to be told they can post it, right? They can't just post whatever they want. They have editors. They have supervisors. They have CEOs. So the narrative was controlled, I feel, for all those years where they couldn't talk positively about Bitcoin, whether they were afraid to lose their job, knowing that it would not be published. So these writers out there, I don't take anything for what they say really seriously. And at the end of the day, it's almost like Project Mockingbird, I guess, still exists. You see all these media outlets say the same exact thing, basically verbatim. And a switch got turned on where it's like, okay, you could talk good about Bitcoin. But, it's interesting at the way they're doing it. But yeah, that's a weird article I was listening to when you're reading it. Just that person sounds very manic right now. I'm a little worried about them. So
it's just absolutely hilarious. It's just so funny. But again, it's so fitting. It's so fitting for, the 100K day first episode of Simply Bitcoin with Bitcoin above $100,000. Anyways, guys, before we move on to the culture segment, guys, we're going to focus on seed storage, guys. I can't emphasize this enough. Numbers going to keep going up. And before you know it, I'm telling you, you've been in Bitcoin a couple cycles, you know this, you're going to end up with a lot more money than you thought you would have had. And you have to store your seed the proper way. And the proper way of doing that is don't write down your seed words on paper, stamp them into titanium. So we're going to talk about that during the culture segment. But before we do that, I do want to give a shout out to Yellow. Yellow, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Historic day for Bitcoin, historic day for you. Guys, go tune in to the Don't Stop Believing, hold on to that feeling, the last X spaces that Yellow will be hosting after doing this for more than 3 years. It's scheduled today at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yellow, thank you so much for joining us on Simply Bitcoin Live today.
Thank you guys for having me, and shout out also to my family, the Meme Factory, and his name was Chairforce, the original creator of Laser Ray until 100K. So shout out to those guys too.
Appreciate it. All right. Thank you, Yellow, for joining us. Really appreciate it. Guys, we'll be right back. We are going to hit the culture. Here we go.
Give a shout out to our sponsor, HIVE Digital Technologies. As the first ever public miner, HIVE's been battle tested through every possible market. And as the first with an AI strategy, HIVE continues to redefine the future of sustainable energy. Also, gotta casually drop this in here, HIVE consistently tops the industry in Bitcoin mined per exahash. They're lean and mean, they're green and clean, and they're changing the game. Learn more by following them at HIVE Digital Tech or check out their website, hivedigitaltech.com.
All right, everybody, before we get into the culture, I do want to give a very special shout out to Simply Bitcoin sponsor, BitBlockBoom. It's going to be April 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th of 2025. Guys, this is going to be one of the best Bitcoin conferences of the year. The entire Simply Bitcoin crew will be there. Nico, Opti, Dante, Rustin, Sophie, Jacob, the Zoomers. It's going to be great. You definitely don't want to miss BitBlockBoom, the year of the parabola. It's awesome. This is the perfect event for you to network, for you to get a job in the industry, for you to potentially meet some of your favorite Bitcoiners. You definitely don't want to miss BitBlockBoom 2025. It's going to be a party. It's going to be a celebration. It's going to be a great effing time. Use promo code BBB21 to get $100 off your tickets. And get your tickets quickly because the prices do go up. We'll see you guys next year in Dallas, Texas at BitBlockBoom 2025, April 3rd through the 6th. All right, everybody. I do want to open up this conversation and talk about seed phrase storage with our boy James from Stamp Seed. Because at the end of the day, guys, do you want to do it? Thanks. At the end of the day, guys, like, look, if you guys are not familiar with self-custody, you guys don't do it. First of all, you should be taking self-custody of your Bitcoin. You don't take self-custody of your Bitcoin, it's not really your Bitcoin. We're very, very picky on who we choose to partner with. We have a hardware wallet as a partner. We have a seed phrase kit company as a partner as well, right? And again, a lot of the benefits of Bitcoin you don't feel if you outsource the storage of your wealth to another person. I can't describe it to you because there's no other feeling. When you take self-custody, you're reclaiming back your financial sovereignty. And that comes obviously with personal responsibility, but it comes with a tremendous amount of power for you, the individual, right? However, when you reclaim back your financial sovereignty, again, because you're not outsourcing it to a bank, the responsibility of the storage of your wealth falls onto you, right? And the thing is, you want to take that very seriously because there is no 1-800 number to call if you lose your seed words. There is no 1-800 number to call if you mess up self-custody, right? So you have to do it the right way. You have to store your Bitcoin on open source Bitcoin only hardware wallets. We recommend the Passport by Foundation devices. And you want to write down or stamp your seed the proper way, which is why we recommend the Stamp Seed Kit. Comes with everything you need. Comes with the hammer, comes with the letter stamping tools. If you want to show the hammer, James, there we go. Boom, boom, boom. Comes with everything you need so that you can literally stamp your seed phrase into this titanium plate. And it's going to literally stand the test of time. This is the type of thing that's going to last 100 years, right? Guys, take it seriously. Usually when you buy a hardware wallet, it comes with a piece of paper, and the piece of paper is labeled 1 through 24. And you're meant to write down your seed words on that piece of paper. Problem is that you don't want to do that. Paper is terrible, right? You imagine like having that conversation like later down the road. It's like literally you have millions of dollars in Bitcoin and it's like my dog ate my seed phrase. That would be a horrible situation to have, which is why you got to store your seed phrase properly. And the Stamp Seed Kit comes with everything you need. And you only have to buy it once, right? That hammer, you can keep using it. The letter stamping tools, you can keep using it. And if you want a new seed phrase, all you got to do is just buy a new plate. And they're custom now, right? Look, they have, this is the recent one that was just launched on Tuesday, the Cyber Hornet.
Yep.
And again, we have a promo code for you guys. If you use promo code SIMPLY, you get 15% off anything on their store. And I know what like a lot of you guys are thinking, which is like, all right, Nico, like, you know, you're pitching me this product and like whatever, this and this and that. Guys, it is baked into the theme of the show. We will be your guide through the separation of money and state. And the way that that works is individuals taking self-custody. But we don't want you to take self-custody and you do it in the wrong way. You have to do it in the right way because there is no one to call. There is no backup, right? You are the backup when you take self-custody of your wealth. So don't write down your seed words, stamp them into titanium, get a stamp seed today. Anyways, James, you guys dropped a new product, a special commemoration of the, and I'm looking for it so I could pull it up here.
100K Bitcoin limited edition plate. Yeah, if you want to pull it up, there's we're going to do commemorative plates every time Bitcoin reaches a big milestone, 100K being the first. And we started with these plate designs with Bitcoin artists where we just have exclusive partnerships with them. This is one that we created in-house. Our in-house artist, Jeanette, came up with this design. It has the Bitcoin chart in the background up to 100K. And it has the block height when that happened, the date when it happened. And there's going to be 210 of these only. They're all marked 1 through 210. We have a lot of collectors who like to get all of our plates and all designs and hodl them, leave them sealed, just like people do with trading cards and whatnot. And, it'll be 1 to 210. We're starting, first one sold is going to be number 1. So, it got launched about an hour ago. So someone might get number 21 that buys today. There's a good chance. And those numbers are a little bit more prime. Other side of this obviously has the 24 spots to stamp your seed words. All their plates are blank on the back, but if you want something a little special with the design, this is available. So, scoop it up. It just dropped today. And yeah, as far as, self-custody goes, right? Like you want to be your own bank, right? Holding money in the bank has pros and cons. There's a lot of cons though. Rehypothecation, even when, gold was held at the bank, gold on paper was given out and dispersed with more gold that was actually held. So when someone else holds and controls your money, they hold and control the entire money supply. So if you be your own bank, you hold your Bitcoin yourself, you're in complete, control of it. You also have that full level responsibility of it, like you were saying, Nico, and having the right tools in place, help you do that with more confidence and help you actually do for the long term. Stamping your seed into titanium versus writing it on paper, obviously a million times better. Titanium is pretty much going to survive triple the average house fire. So if you have it stored somewhere in a property where you're worried about that, there are no worries. You could bury this completely underground, raw, just the way it is. It's not going to rust. There's going to be no issues with there too. So it's virtually indestructible, right? Versus having a piece of paper or versus having multiple pieces of little metal tiles or something to that effect. So, great solution for storing your seed words for your generational wealth. You want, like you say, you want your grandkids to be able to talk about how much of a legend you were for holding Bitcoin throughout the earlier years. And you got to have the right tools to be able to do something like that. I don't know if you could see it right here, but, each letter gets stamped in there deep. I saw someone in the chat asking if it was like a grid or letters, but it's letters one by one. You just stamp them in there, proof of work style. You have 1 through 24 spots on here. And you have your holes. Holes are great for utility. You can nail this thing into a wall, under a desk in probably within the next 2 to 3 months, around there. We're going to have cover plates that will incorporate these holes where you could cover the plate with a titanium plate that's blank. There'll be titanium security screws. Just keep everything, the same material. If you want a little extra level of protection where you're covering up your words, you can do that. The sharding is a great method that we have too. We have Shamir backups. Try to have everything anyone needs to back up their seed words of confidence.
Absolutely. And could you imagine, handing this plate, this limited edition 1 out of 210 to your grandchildren, 30, 40, 50 years from now. And it's literally proof, it's proof that, it's like, this is the 100K plate, right? So again, very cool collector's item. But if you guys are just like utility maxis and you're not looking into collector's item, the traditional kit is $120 and it comes with everything, right? So
the traditional kit, if you go to the drop down and hit the last one, that's going to be everything that's in the kit. It's actually $196 for everything. The without the hammer block, it's $120. We do that because some people already have a hammer, some people have a workbench already, so they might want to save some sats and not get every single tool. But everyone that has the hammer has loved it. I mean, this thing is meant for metal stamping. It's got a short handle, 2-pound weighted head, brass tip. And we were talking about one time, the brass tip is good, right? Because when you're hitting a steel stamp on titanium plate, if you have a steel tip hammer, it's going to bounce off the top of that stamp and not go as deep. All that denting in the brass tip is that proof of work where that stamp is driving deeper, giving you a better result. You want those letters in there as deep as possible. If they're just kind of scratched in with an engraving pen or something like that, one, it's not going to be neat. Two, it will not be nearly as neat. So, the hammer is pretty solid, man. It's one of the favorite products that a lot of people, when we go to conferences, people comment on it a lot. We have like Michael Saylor holding the hammer in one of the pictures. It's a cool hammer. It looks pretty badass.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So let's talk about the kit that comes with everything. So, usually when you write down, you get usually when you buy a hardware wallet, it comes with a piece of paper. The piece of paper is literally labeled 1 through 12 or 1 through 24.
This is a little bit different. So it comes with the hammer that James just talked about. So essentially, like, you don't want to use a regular hammer because a regular hammer, it doesn't have that brass tip that James was talking about. So it kind of bounces a little bit harder. The brass tip essentially kind of takes some of that impact so that the letter is stamped hard into that titanium plate, right? So it could stand the test of time.
It's a dead blow shot, it's called.
A dead blow, exactly. And it comes with the letter stamping tool, so the whole alphabet, A through Z.
Numbers,
numbers, and it comes with the anvil, and it comes with this this base that essentially, it, like, guys, like, you're not writing something down, so you're doing something a little bit different. And believe it or not, sometimes it can be a little bit complicated stamping letters into a plate. So what this does, essentially, you align the letter, has a little, like, if you see the line there, the letter, and what it does is it gives you like little cutouts, and it tells you where to stamp, where to hammer that. So you don't have to guess, because you've probably never have done this before, right? So you go letter by letter, and you just line up the lines with the thing like I showed you guys. And then, you know, it takes a little bit of time to, you know, fully write down that entire 24, those entire 24 words. But remember, you only have to do this once, right? This is not something that you're doing on a daily basis. So yeah, guys, comes with everything you need, like I said.
And the jig helps hold that plate in place. Think about if, you know, the plate wasn't held in that alignment tool, the jig, it'd be bouncing off all over the place on you. So a lot of people buy things on Amazon. They want to DIY it, which is fine. I have nothing against it, but there are some issues with that. You know, if the plate's bouncing off, you know, on every hit of the letter, that's a problem. You know, that's where errors start to come into place. You know, things are moving around. You might grab the wrong letter and stamp the wrong word or the wrong letter. So, you know, holds it in place nicely, and that helps you align the letters great. And I think I saw someone asking, you know, how do you purposely destroy the plate if it's virtually indestructible? And you can. I mean, you could just stamp extra letters over the letters that are already there and purposely destroy it that way. And then, yeah, probably in a month or two, we're going to have an eraser stamp that's meant to do that specifically. Or use it as a decoy, right? You know, if you're not using that wallet anymore, you know, it's kind of weird. Like, you don't want anyone to have it, but there's nothing on it still. Maybe you just use it as a decoy, or keep like a low amount of sats on there, so you have a little bit of, you know, you don't have all your eggs in one basket. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Also, guys, you only have to buy the kit once. So you can keep using this, the stamping base, and you can keep using the hammer, and you can keep using the letter stamping tools. So once you buy this kit, let's say, you know, for whatever reason, you make a mistake, or let's say you have another seed words, or perhaps you're trying to get your family members, your parents, to take self-custody, you can just buy the plates individually, right? Yeah. So if you need extra plates, you know, they're $20 to $28. And this limited edition 100K one is $38. By the way, if you use promo code Simply, you got 15% off anything on the store, right? So guys, I can't emphasize this enough. Yeah. If you have to take self-custody, and if you take self-custody, you have to do it right. This is something that you'll pay a dear cost for. This is a mistake that I've made. This is a mistake that a lot of Bitcoiners have made. I think it's like part of the Bitcoin journey. So do it right. Get yourself a stamped seed. Like I said, we're very, very picky on who we choose to partner with, and who we choose to partner with are Bitcoin companies that are going to allow you to reclaim back your financial sovereignty the right way, right? So head over to stampseed.com today. Use promo code Simply. You get 15% off anything on the store. Take back your financial custody. Take back your financial sovereignty. Take self-custody of Bitcoin. Do it the right way. James, do you have any closing messages for the 2,472 people watching live? Opti.
Wait, I got Mike is acting up. I got a question from the chat, James. They're wondering, when is the 12-word seed phrase coming out?
That's going to be at early 2025. I think we're going to be ordering it by the end of this week. It'll be here. And fun fact, you could use it with the big jig. It's going to, you know, we're going to have a little spacer that goes in there that takes up all the negative space. And you use the I can't hear you.
You're good. You're good.
Oh, I couldn't hear you. Yeah. So soon, that 12-hour plate's going to be out soon, which is highly anticipated. In the meantime, you could use the 24-word plate. And if you really want to buy now, right, you could get the kit with the 24-word plate and then purchase the 12-word plate by itself, which of course we'll offer. And that will come with a little jig spacer that you slide into, because the plate's going to be half the size, right? So it's going to be sliding around on you. So it'll be taking up about half of it. And then there'll be a little plastic spacer that goes in there to keep everything, nice and neat. So a lot of things are going to be coming out in 2025, including the 12-word plate, the cover plates with security screws that are all made of the same material. So big things happening soon. And I know, Nico, you're asking for final thing to say. I guess I would say that Bitcoin is going to, whatever Bitcoin you hold now, right, it's going to be worth, imagine if that's 10 times worth more than it is now, because you can see how quick 100K could come. You see how quick 1 million could come. And you just, it's nice to be able to have everything safe and secure before it reaches that that crazy height of $1 million per coin. So take self-custody of your Bitcoin, get a reputable hardware wallet, put your Bitcoin in cold storage with it, and then stamp receipt into titanium and just hold long term. This is the way.
It really, really, like, it's what Yellow was saying. It's so simple. People complicate it. Like, it's so straightforward. Literally,
too easy.
Get up in the morning, put in the work, stack sats, live a great life. Like, it's like literally not rocket science.
Yeah.
We live in this world where it's so inverted that you have to do all these shenanigans just to get by. That's not that's not normal. On a Bitcoin standard, you do you. Whatever it is your passion. You make money, put that money into sats, you save it, your life gets progressively cheaper over time. Everything around you gets less expensive when you're on a Bitcoin standard, which is why you have to guard those precious, precious Satoshis the right way. Anyways, guys, this was Simply Bitcoin Live. So amazing. First episode above 100K. I'm your host, Nico. My legendary co-host, Optimus Fields. Our special guest today, James from stampseed.com. Head over there today. Use promo code SIMPLY. This was our episode for December 5th, 2024. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out, everybody.
See you.
Brought to you by BitcoinWell.com, a Bitcoin-only platform on a mission to enable financial independence.